All right, today we're going to dive into one of the most incredible, hardworking parts of your entire body. We're talking about an organ that does more work before you've even had your first cup of coffee than most of us get done all day. So let me ask you, if you had to take a guess, what's the single busiest, most multi-talented organ you've got? Now, you might be thinking it's the brain or maybe the heart, but nope, it's neither of those. Any idea? The answer is your liver. And what's just absolutely wild is that scientists have ID'd over 500, that's right, 500 different vital jobs that it's doing around the clock to keep you alive and healthy. It's just a staggering number when you stop and think about it. And that's exactly why we're calling it the body's unsung hero. You know, it just works tirelessly in the background, and honestly, most of us barely give it a second thought. So let's pull back the curtain and give this amazing organ the credit it deserves. So where is this hero hiding out? Well, it's tucked away safely up in the right side of your abdomen, right underneath your rib cage. And it is a giant. It weighs about 1.5 kilograms or around 3 pounds. That makes it the largest solid organ you have inside your body. But here's its most famous superpower, and this is truly incredible. The liver is the only internal organ that can actually regenerate. If a piece of it gets damaged or removed, it can literally regrow back to its full size. That's a real-life superpower, a testament to just how resilient it is. To really get how the liver does all this, it helps to think of it like a massive, high-tech industrial powerhouse. You know, it needs fuel and raw materials to run, and it's got this incredibly sophisticated setup to make sure it gets them. See, this powerhouse has a really unique dual blood supply. Most organs just get one. First, you've got the portal vein. This thing brings in blood that's packed with all the nutrients from your food. Think of that as the raw materials for the factory. At the exact same time, the hepatic artery is pumping in oxygen-rich blood, which is the fuel that powers all the liver's workers. Then, once all the work is done, the clean, processed blood flows back out to the rest of your body through the hepatic veins. Pretty smart, right? Okay, so the fuel and materials are coming in, but what is actually going on inside this powerhouse? Let's take a look at the different departments that make the liver the ultimate multitasking machine. So if you look at the big picture, the liver's workload is split into about 5 key areas. And the biggest job by far, taking up a whopping 40% of its effort, is metabolism. That's the super complex task of managing all the energy and the building blocks for your entire body. So let's dive into what's happening in these different departments. First up, we've got the metabolism and production departments. They really work hand in hand. You can think of your liver here as a master chef and a factory foreman all rolled into one. It's managing your body's energy supply, storing sugar from your food, and then releasing it right when you need it. It's also busy manufacturing critical proteins, like the ones that help your blood clot if you get a cut. It even makes the cholesterol your body needs to function and the bile that's essential for digesting fats. Then you've got the purification and storage departments. This is like the liver's security and logistics hub. It's constantly filtering your blood, breaking down things like alcohol, medications, and other toxins. It also takes harmful ammonia, which is a waste product from using protein, and turns it into harmless urea that you can safely get rid of. And it's a warehouse. It stores key vitamins like A, D, and B12, along with minerals like iron and copper. On top of all that, it's got its own internal security force, these special immune cells called Kupffer cells that basically eat any nasty bacteria that try to invade. But, you know, like any powerhouse, it's not invincible. When the whole system gets overloaded or damaged, the fallout can be really serious for the entire body that relies on it. Threats to the liver usually come from a few different directions. You've got inflammatory viruses, like the different types of hepatitis. There are also metabolic problems, like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is basically a buildup of fat in the liver that's often tied to diet. And then you have the end result of all that chronic, long-term damage, which is scarring, or what's known as cirrhosis. Let's zero in on that last one for a second, cirrhosis. It helps to think of it not so much as a disease itself, but as the final, dangerous stage of many different kinds of liver damage. It's what happens when that healthy, soft liver tissue gets replaced by hard, useless scar tissue.
This scarring basically chokes off the blood flow and stops the liver from doing its hundreds of jobs, which can ultimately lead to liver failure. Okay, I know that sounds pretty serious, but here's the good news, the empowering part. We are not helpless here. You can think of this next part as the official owner's manual for your liver, the simple things you can do to keep this powerhouse running smoothly for a lifetime.
So, how do you take care of this thing? Well, while doctors have their tools, blood tests that look for certain enzymes or special scans to check for damage, the most powerful tools are actually in your hands. The real game changers are your daily choices: getting vaccinated for things like hepatitis B, keeping a healthy diet and weight, and just being smart about alcohol.
So here it is, your proactive care checklist. And you'll notice it's not super complicated. It really boils down to eating a balanced diet, keeping an eye on your weight and blood pressure, avoiding things that are known to overload the system, and getting those key vaccinations. It's pretty much the best possible maintenance plan for your body's powerhouse.
So we'll leave you with this thought. We've seen that your liver is this resilient, multitasking beast that's performing over 500 critical jobs for you without ever asking for a day off. So the question is, now that you know all this, what are you going to do for it?